Chapter 45. I get to know Jack. I'm pretty good at multitasking, so I figured I could flee in terror and argue at the same time. A horsefly, I yelled. You can turn into a horsefly? She ducked as a steam-powered dart buzzed over her head. Now is not the time. Oh, excuse me, I should wait for the designated talk about turning into horseflies time. Hearthstone and Blitzen led the way. Behind us, a mob of 30 dwarfs was closing fast. I didn't like their murderous expressions or their fine assortment of handcrafted weapons. This way! Blitzen ducked down an alley. Unfortunately, Hearthstone wasn't watching, and the elf barreled straight ahead. Mother! Blitz cursed, at least I thought it was a curse, until Sam and I reached the corner and faltered. A few steps down the alley, Blitz was trapped in a net of light. He squirmed and cussed at the glowing web lifted him into the air. It's my mother, he yelped. She wants her damnable earrings. Go on, catch up with Hearthstone. I'll meet you. Pop! Our dwarf disappeared in a flash. I glanced at Sam. Did that just happen? We've got other problems. She pulled out her axe. The mob had caught up with us. They fanned out in an angry semicircle of beards, scowls, baseball bats, and broadswords. I wasn't sure what they were waiting for. Then I heard Junior's voice somewhere behind me. Hold on, he wheezed. Kill first. The mob parted. Flanked by his bodyguards, the old dwarf pushed his walker toward us. He eyed me and then Sam. Where are Blitzen and the elf? Junior muttered. Well, no matter, we'll find him. You, boy, I don't care about so much. Run now and I might let you live. The girl is obviously a daughter of Loki. She bit me and ruined my crafting. She dies. I pulled off my pennant. The sword of summer grew to full length. The crowd of dwarves edged backwards. I guess they knew a dangerous blade when they saw one. I'm not going anywhere, I said. You'll have to take on both of us. The sword hummed for attention. Correction, I said. You'll have to take on all three of us. This is Sumarbrander, the sword of summer, crafted by... Well, actually, I'm not sure. But it's definitely famous among swords, and it's about to kick your collective butts. Thank you, said the sword. Sam making a squeaky noise. The dwarf's shocked expressions told me I hadn't imagined hearing the sword's voice. I held up the blade. You can talk? Well, I mean, of course you can talk. You have many, incredible abilities. That's what I've been saying! The sword's voice was definitely male. It emanated from the runes along the blade, which vibrated and glowed with every word like the lights on a stereo equalizer. I gave the dwarves an arrogant look like, yeah, that's right. I've got a talking disco sword and you don't. Sumarbrander, I said, so how do you feel about taking on this mob? Sure, said the sword. You want them dead or... The mob shuffled backward in alarm. Nah, just make them go away. You're no fun, the sword said. Okay, then, let's go. I hesitated. I didn't particularly want to hold a flashing, talking, humming sword, but dropping my weapon didn't seem like the natural first step toward victory. Junior must have seen my reluctance. We can take him, he yelled. He's one boy with a sword. He doesn't know how to use it. Sam snarled. In a former Valkyrie with an axe she very much does know how to use. Bah, Junior said. Let's get him, boys. Granny Shuffler, activate. Rows of dagger blades extended from the front of his walker. Two miniature rocket engines fired in the back, propelling Junior toward us at a mind-boggling 1 mile an hour. His comrades roared and charged. I let go of my sword. I hovered in the air for a split second, and then it flew into action. Faster than you can say, son of Edna, every dwarf was disarmed. Their weapons were cut in half, split down the middle, knocked to the ground, or diced into hors d'oeuvre-sized cubes. The daggers and rockets were sheared off of Junior's walker. The severed ends of 30 beards fluttered to the pavement, leaving 30 shocked dwarfs with 50% less facial hair. The sword of summer hovered between the mob and me. Anybody want more? The sword asked. The dwarfs turned and fled. Junior yelled over his shoulder as he hobbled away, and following his bodyguards who were already a block ahead of him. This isn't over, boy. I'll be back with reinforcements. Sam lowered her axe. That was... wow. Yeah, I agreed. Thank you, Sumarbrander. De nada, said the sword, but you know, Sumarbrander is a really long name, and I've never really liked it much. Okay. I wasn't really sure where to look when addressing the sword. The glowing runes, the tip of the blade. So, what would you like us to call you? The sword hummed thoughtfully. What is your name? Magnus. That's a good name. Call me Magnus. But you can't be Magnus, I'm Magnus. Okay, then what is her name? Sam. You can't be Sam either. It's too confusing. The blade swished from side to side. Well, what is a good name? Something that fits my personality and my many talents. Well, but I don't really know you as well as I'd like to. I looked at Samira, who just shook her head like, hey, it's your disco sword. Honestly, I said, I don't know, Jack. Jack! The sword cried. Perfect! The thing about talking swords, it's hard to tell when they're kidding. They have no facial expressions. Or faces. So you want me to call you Jack? It is a noble name, said the sword, fit for kings and sharp carving implements. Okay, I said. Well then, Jack, thanks for the save. You mind if I reached for the hilt, but Jack floated away from me. Oh, I wouldn't do that just yet, he warned. The price of my amazing abilities. As soon as you sheath me or turn me into a pendant or whatever, you will feel just as exhausted as if you had performed all my actions yourself. My shoulder muscles tightened. I considered how tired I would have felt if I just destroyed all those weapons and cut their beards. Oh, I didn't notice that earlier. Because you hadn't used me for anything amazing yet. Right. In the distance, an air raid horn howled. I doubted they got many air raids in an underground world, so I figured the alarm had to do with us. We need to go, Sam urged. We have to find Hearthstone. I doubt Junior was joking about reinforcements. Finding Hearthstone was the easy part. 2 blocks away, we ran into him as he was coming back to find us. What the Helheim, he signed. Where's Blitzen? I told him about Freya's gold net. We'll find him. Right now, Junior is calling up the Dwarven National Guard. Your sword is floating, Hearth noted. Your elf is deaf, Jack noted. I turned to the sword. I know that. Sorry. Introductions. Jack, Hearth, Jack. Hearth signed. Is it talking? I don't read sword lips. What is he saying? Jack asked. I don't read elf hands. Guys, Sam pointed behind us. A few blocks away, an iron-plated vehicle with caterpillar treads and a mounted turret was turning slowly onto our street. That's a tank! Junior has a tank? We should leave, Jack said. I am awesome, but if I try to destroy a tank, the strain might kill you. Yeah, I agreed. How do we get out of Nidavellir? Hearthstone clapped for my attention. This way. We sprinted after him, zigzagging through alleys, knocking over carefully handcrafted garbage cans that probably had names and souls. From somewhere behind us, a deep boom rattled windows and made pebbles rain from above. Is the tank shaking the sky? I yelled. That can't be good. Hearthstone led us down another street of clapboard row houses. Dwarves sat on stoops, clapping and cheering as we ran by. A few of them recorded videos of us on uniquely crafted smartphones. I figured our attempted getaway would go viral on the Dwarfen internet, famous among internets. Finally, we reached what would have been the southern edge of South Boston. On the far side of the avenue, instead of M Street, the ground dropped off into a chasm. Oh, this is helpful, Sam said. Behind us in gloom, Junior's voice shouted, Bazookas! Take the right flank! Hearthstone led us to the rim of a canyon. Far below, a river roared. He sighed. We jump in. Are you serious? I asked. Blitzen and I did this before. River washes out of Nidavellir. To where? Depends, Hearthstone sighed. That's not reassuring, said Sam. Hearthstone pointed back toward the avenue. The Dwarfen mob was gathering tanks and jeeps and RPGs and a whole bunch of really angry geriatric dwarves in armor-plated walkers. All right, we jump, I decided. Jack the sword hovered next to me. Better hold me now, boss, otherwise I might get lost again. But you said the exhaustion might make you pass out, the sword agreed. On the bright side, it looks like you're going to die anyway. He had a point. Oh, sorry, that was bad. I took the sword and I wheeled it back into pennant form. I had just had time to attach it to the chain before my legs buckled. Sam caught me. Hearthstone, take his other arm. As my vision went dark, Sam and Hearth helped me leap off a cliff. Because, you know, what are friends for?